For so long, we've been here, we've been trying.
Hi there, and welcome to another exciting edition of the Springboard Hangout. The Springboard Hangout, as you know, is a fun-educative program where we ask questions, critical ones that reflect us, and we find out these solutions to them. My name is Comfort Ocran. You know, yesterday, March 8th, we celebrated the one and only International Women's Day. And so I want to wish all my beautiful and lovely ladies watching us today a happy International Women's Day. You know, we talked about the digital divide as well as talking about equity, as needing to embrace equity. And so based on that, today in the Hangouts, we are talking about the International Women's Day, embracing equity. To enable us talk about what equity is and everything in between, and all the difference between equity and equality, I had advertised that I'll have two lovely ladies in the studio. But due to circumstances beyond our control, we will have the first person in studio today, and hopefully we'll bring you the second lady another time. Therefore, who is in the studio with me today? You want to find out this lovely lady who, against, when I say all odds, she will start with her story. And when you learn her story, when you hear her story, you see what she has had to go through. And you will tell me whether she's had equality or she has been able to get equity, and what she's using that equity she has gained to make other people's lives more, successful. Yet she's doing so well. I'm talking about Teni. Teni is this young Kaya Yale girl who is now an Ashesi graduate, and she is here to explore with us equity versus equality. Which one is better? We'll go for a quick break. Please call someone to come and join us so that we can hear the story and also find out what are those key learning points that you can use in your life. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
It's another electrifying conversation with legal practitioner and international elections consultant Charlotte Osei on Springboard, your virtual university.
For a lot of young people, what I tell them is build capacity. Because it's really important that you have capacity. Depending on what the role is, you may be dealing with a lot of politics, you may be dealing with media issues. But if you've built your capacity, that gives you sufficient grounding to take on all the other battles.
Join us this Sunday, 12 March at 7 p.m. on Joy 99.7 FM, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter at Albert N.E. Ocran. Catch the retelecast on Saturday, 18th March at 6 a.m. sharp on Joy Prime.
Sponsors: Enterprise Group, MTN Pulse, UMB Bank, and media partners Joy FM, Joy Prime, and Graphic Business. Springboard. Your personal value will shoot up.
Here's where we turn around. Here's where we turn around. Here's where we turn around.
Welcome back to the Springboard Hangout. Today we are looking at the International Women's Day, and we're looking at embracing equity as well as the digital, how we can reduce the digital divide in our spaces. But to have this conversation, for us to understand what we're talking about, I have somebody whose story is amazing. I'm privileged, I'm honored actually to have in the studios with us today, Teni. Teni, could you please introduce, who are you?
Hello everyone, thank you so much for having me today. My name is Teni Agana, and I'm from Bogatanga in the Upper East region. I graduated from Manchester University. Currently, I'm doing my master's at the University of Edinburgh in International Development. I'm the MD of Lozele Initiative, which is an organization that empowers and supports Kaya girls to create a source of income for themselves whilst they stay in the North. Currently, we have 50 young girls that we are working with, and 24 of them are in school. They go to school. When they close, they come and make the product. So that's who I am and what I do.
Right. So what happened and you started working with Kaya? Do you want to, you can push us, take us back to let's say 2012 or something. Let's start your journey from there.
All right. So I worked as a head porter after JSS. My father passed away and my mother couldn't afford to take me to secondary school. So I migrated to Kumasi in Bantama in the Ashanti region to work. When I went there, I had a lot of things in mind that I wanted to do, but I didn't get opportunity to those ones.
What were some of those things?
So some of them was to be a people's teacher, teaching either nursery or primary, and then earn an income. The second thing that I wanted to do to be a school shop attendant. So that was wash bowls in a choba because that one is easier for me. So that was some of the things that I had in mind. But then when I went to Bantama, none of them was available for me. So I've seen some of the young girls that are in my village. So some of them were into kayaks, and they were supporting me for the first few days. And so that's how I entered into the trade of kayak. But the fun fact is, my grandmother worked as a kayak. My mother worked as a kayak. I also worked as a kayak.
So that means that we're passing on the tradition. We'll break that tradition.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, yes, fantastic. So let's go on.
So I worked as a kayak for a year, and then I was able to save. So usually as a kayak, normally you get up early in the morning, you go to where the trucks are for cassava, plantain, and then you'll be able to help the market women take their items to the market, and then during the day you enter into the main market where shoppers will come. But then that one was a little tricky because most of the shoppers have their own customers. So if you are new, it will take you a while before you get your own customers. So fast forward, I did that for a year. And before that, as a kayak, sometimes you have just two pair of things. You hold one, and the other one, when you bath, you change, and then you wash it, and then because you don't have a place that you keep them. So you do that, and then sometimes at night, some of us, to prevent other men from raping us, my friends and I would tie our legs together to sleep at night, so that if you're a guy and you want to come and take advantage of me, you need to find the other leg, you know. So
So it's that's I was wondering, did you have any issue about that kind of
it's an open space. It's an open space, right? In the market, it's not just kayayi. We have people, street boys, a lot of people are in there. And so definitely as people, we have some people that just want to take advantage of that. And so sometimes at night we take turns to sleep. Because we sleep outside, we take turns to sleep so that we can, if they know that some of you are not sleeping, they won't come close. But then we've seen instances, I have personally seen instances where some of the girls got raped, they get pregnant and they can't go back to school. So I mean, that's how life is. But then for us, what we believe is that we can't choose who we are born to or where we come from.
We can't choose who we are
born to or where we come from. But with a little bit of hard work, you'll be able to, and determination, you'll be able to. So, and that was what was running through our mind as we go through life, right? So fast forward, I was able to save within a year of work, and I was able to purchase the things that I needed. So my job was, I remember paying admission fees. I mean, there was no free SHS, paying admission fees, 300 cedis, and then I studied business at Bolga Girls. Every first term, I need to pay, every academic year I need to pay school fees. So you
pay in bulk for the rest of the year.
So
you
definitely
don't have to think about first, second, and third term.
Yes, so every academic year you pay. So usually I'm not able to get, so even though coming to Kumasi every third term to save money, I wasn't able to pay the full school fees. So it was when I graduated that I worked, and then when the results came, I paid and took my results.
Wow.
Yes. So every third term I will come back to Kumasi and work, save money, use that, some of it to pay for insurance for my siblings and my mom, because I was the firstborn, and my mom was in the north. So I did that for 4 years, and I think one thing that has helped me as a person is I always have a plan, regardless. It doesn't mean that everything is going to work according to the plan, but what it means is that you have something that guides you. So even this is where you know this is where you want to be.
Yeah.
So regardless of what is happening around here, you are still motivated to get there. So my plan was to go to training college, because training college I'll get allowance, and I can use that to support myself and my siblings. So I did that for, I told my mom about it, and she said, oh, that's a brilliant idea. I'll go with you. Whilst you're working, I'm also working. At the end, we can put our money together, and then you go to training college. So we went to Kumasi, we worked for a year. We were supposed to go home on a Wednesday. So on a Tuesday morning, my mom was insisting that we go on a Monday. I said, no, let's work. You use that money to purchase rice. So in the north, you eat what you sow. So usually we usually grow maize, millet, and those things. So my siblings don't have access to rice, and usually maybe Christmas that you get rice. So I said, oh, they'll be excited. So let's just work and use that money to buy for them. My mom was still insistent, but then I said, let's work. So on a Tuesday morning, I was carrying someone's thing, and one of the girls that I knew came to me, and she was trying to tell me something. And then later, after attending to the customer, she told me that my mom went to buy firewood. She was crossing the road and she was knocked down by a car.
Lord have mercy. I know. Lord have mercy.
So for me, we didn't if you work so hard, sometimes as a car, at night when it's raining, you get up, you put your basin and you stand in the rain until it stops. As a car, sometimes customers are very rude. I remember sometimes you sleep in front of people's shops, and some of them will come and urinate and pour it on you, because some of us dirty up the place when we sleep. After sleeping there, we dirty. So going through all that, we save this money, and at the end, within 10 minutes, all the money that I've worked for a year, I have to use it to pay for my mom's hospital bill.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that's a huge setback.
Yeah. I mean, I know where I come from. I know I don't have it, but I'm working so hard to create that better life.
Yes.
To be like, I had this picture of a woman with a graduation gown on. I saw it on the floor. And she was so perfect. She smiled like the way you were smiling. She was so happy. And for me, she was the most successful person on earth. So I wanted to be like her.
Yeah.
And I'm trying hard to be this person, to have a better life. And then, so for me, it has happened. I can't go back and change time. So, I mean, I was ready to get out. I mean, I was very disappointed and sad at that moment. But then within 30 minutes, I was ready to get up and start all over again. So I was walking out of the hospital, and I saw a woman who was crying. I mean, it's in the hospital, so she was very loud. And people were around her, so I went closer and asked what happened. And they told me that her only daughter was in the emergency room and needed blood. The husband is outside, and the woman's blood it matches, but then it's not enough to be given to the child. But then she's saying that they should
everything. Everything.
I know. So I went and I checked my blood. I was O positive. I was able to donate for the woman. So later the woman came to thank me for what I did for her, and she asked me what I was doing in the hospital, and I took my time. And whilst I'm narrating it, I'm crying. I mean,
let the water flow.
It was the same day that it happened, and so I was at that moment, all the crying that I didn't do. Yeah. I just did it at that moment, right? So after she asked me do I know Comfort Ghana? I said no. So she said, Comfort Ghana, they are an organization that supports young girls, especially those in the north, to go to school, to start a business and all that. So she actually directed me to Comfort in Tamale, and I went there, and they were so excited. I met this amazing woman. She's currently the country director for Comfort. She's called Auntie Sally. She's amazing.
God bless you. Wherever you are, Auntie Sally, God bless you. I've known Comfort. I've known ladies who have come from Comfort, and you're doing such an amazing job in the north, in Tamale.
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I must say, it's MasterCard Foundation who is also supporting them as well. So tell us, let's move from Comfort, and then we would look at the International Day of the woman.
Yes. So I went to Comfort and they asked me what I wanted. I said, I want to go to training college. They said, oh, what do I really want? And that was not what I wanted because it was a place for me to be able to support myself. Yes. So I applied to universities and I didn't even know Ashesi. So my Auntie Sally recommended Ashesi. I said, no, I want to go to tech. I won't go like.
Yeah, so that you'll be among the people's song.
Yeah, so she said I should apply to Ashesi. So I applied to Ashesi and when I was selected to come for the interview, when I got to Ashesi, the place was so beautiful. I said, are we still in Ghana? The place was so beautiful.
Don't let the Ashesi people hear this, otherwise we'll never hear the end of it. Yes, go.
So I went to Ashesi for my interview, and there's this part that they will tell you, they will ask you to tell me about yourself. And I started, they said, oh, have I heard of MasterCard? Ashesi also has MasterCard Foundation Scholarship, and so they were telling me about MasterCard Foundation Scholarship. So eventually I went to Ashesi as MasterCard scholar, so that a young girl from the north can also get access to Comfort and then go to school. So I went to Ashesi.
The Young Africa Work Scholarship.
So MasterCard gives scholarships. So they have the Young African Work, and they also have the Young African Work is saying that they want to give dignified jobs to 300 million young people in Africa. But the scholarship provides scholarship opportunities to young people. Okay. Yeah, so I went there on the scholarship. So school fees, accommodation, feeding, stipend, and you also get an opportunity to travel. And mind you, a young girl from Silko, a small village who had never touched a computer, was in Ashesi. And throughout Ashesi, I was able to travel to other places, Rwanda, Boston. Exactly. It was nice. So I graduated from Ashesi in 2018. I won the presidential award. So for me, at Ashesi, I went back home and I realized that most of the young girls that I was working as Kaya with, at night, we tie our legs together, we protect each other, we defend each other. They were still Kayais.
They hadn't moved.
They were still in the same situation that they were. Some of them have given birth to 2-3 children. Eventually, their kids will also
go into the same...
And the cycle continues. So that got me thinking. I was fortunate to have gotten the MasterCard scholarship to Ashesi. What can I do? So I actually did my thesis on Kayais. How do we support young girls to create a source of income for themselves while they stay in the north and go to school?
Yes.
So no one wants to come to Accra and tie their legs and sleep on the streets.
No.
No one wants to leave their family and come and then be carrying heavy loads and be treated unfairly, right? So from the research that I did, we interviewed over 100 Kayais in Accra and 100 in Kumasi. And with about 95% of them said they wanted to go back. But then, I mean, there are 5%.
The reality.
Yes. 5% also said they wanted better job, but then they want to stay Accra. You know, in the north, female genital mutilation, every marriage, abuse and all that one also plays a part. So is there a way that we can support these young girls, those that want to go back and go to school, those that want to stay? Can we create a better job for them to do? Even Kaya is not a bad thing. It's just the circumstance. Can we make their lives better? Can we make Kaya sort of carrying? Can they push it?
It's just transporting goods, you know, from one level to the other. So if you can find a better way of doing that transportation, that is more dignified.
Yeah.
It makes a much.
So that was some of the things that I was thinking as I was going through my thesis. So after Ashesi, I said, okay, let me take this up. So together with 3 co-founders from Ashesi, they're also my Ashesi classmates, we started Lozele Initiative. Currently, we have 50 Kaya girls and 20 young girls in the north that we are working with. These young girls go to school, they are learning a skill, and they are still able to get money at the end of the week. They make products such as this small fabric that I'm wearing. They make designs out of this. Some of them can sew. We make kimonos. They make shea butter.
So why didn't you bring me any of the kimonos?
Oh, I'll bring it to you.
Because I like shea butter. I mean, I like my kimonos as well. So I don't see why. I mean, you came here without my kimono.
I will. I'll definitely bring it to you by Friday, by the end of Friday. Yes. So we make different things, and currently we are creating an online. So we are currently working with UNICEF Startup Lab with Meshed Ghana, and what we do is we are creating an online platform, an e-commerce website where we can sell the products that you produce.
Fantastic.
Currently, we use our social media to sell the product.
Yeah.
But we want to expand because for us, if you are not able to get the market, we can't support more girls. And currently, we have over 100,000 Kayayis in Kumasi and Accra alone.
Are you serious?
Yes.
You know, one day around 9 o'clock, I was going for a walk, 9 p.m. I usually don't walk that late, but I don't know what happened. And I was going for a walk at that time. And as I went, I saw these young ladies lying on the street, at the front of the stores. And I mean, I wept inside. Yeah. I wept inside because I was like, look, I mean, what did they do? And as you said, we don't choose who will be born to. If we did, that's a different thing. But we don't choose. And we just happen to have been born to a particular set of parents. Yeah. So how do we make it better for these young people? And so that brings us, I like the tapestry you've woven for us. You've given us a beautiful backdrop. This is somebody who came from a deprived background by some interesting interweaving of the grace, and I will call it the grace of God. You happen to have been at the right place at what you thought was the wrong time, but actually that was the opportunity for you to meet your destiny helper who would connect you with the comfort group, and based on that, the whole trajectory of your life changed from going this way to the right. And that is a miracle that we have to celebrate. We celebrate you. We celebrate you so much on the Hangout today. Now the second part, which looks at how we are going with what equality versus equity is. What in your story, what can we identify as the equity factor in that one, and why should we embrace that?
Yes. So for me, equality is having every individual having access, regardless of your age, gender, religion, ethnicity, having access to the same thing, right? But equity for me is giving people access to opportunities based on their needs and differences. I'm from the north, even though equality-wise, the school fees in the north is subsidized.
Yes.
But then that wasn't enough for me.
You needed more.
The school fees wasn't subsidized, so I needed more. That's why I had to migrate all the way, whilst my friends were studying. Those that could afford, they paid school fees or classes for their children. I had to travel and work in order to get the money that my parents should have done, but because they didn't have, they couldn't afford. And also another equity factor was that when I got to Ashesi, I had never touched a computer before getting to Ashesi. I had never, I don't read books, I don't have access to books and also I don't read. So when I got to Ashesi, that was a little hard for me because some of the people that were in my class, they already knew how to use computers.
They had books that they were used to reading.
Exactly. So when I got to Ashesi, it was a challenge for me because...
so how were you supported?
So, I mean, Ashesi has... so when it comes to people like us, Ashesi is a very diverse community, right? So when it comes to people, there are a lot of things in place to help support you. So for me, and even I think the bigger thing is you being... For me, I've worked so hard to get to Ashesi. I've suffered so hard to get. So in my first year, I had a GPA of 1.25, which was way below the average. Wow. I did 4 courses. I only passed 1. The 3 I failed. Wow. But Ashesi has put in a lot of things in process to support people who really want to learn and are willing to do it. If you are not willing, they can't help you. So computer-wise, I was given my own computer. I had never touched a computer. So I would go to programming class. We are coding. I don't know how. So while they've completed the code, they've finished. I'm looking for where Z is on the computer to type, right? So that was when Ashesi, I think they have people that are employed just to support people like us. So learning Mavis Beacon, starting from scratch. I had my own academic advisor who supported me with my academics, so maybe reading books. So sometimes I'll go to my written and oral class, and they are talking about a movie. They are connecting it to feminism, right? They are talking about equity. I can't connect these two because I don't know what you are talking about.
Yes, you don't even have you hadn't even to watch the movie before.
Exactly, I can't understand.
Let alone try and draw inferences from an abstract concept.
What think it was? I don't know what you are. So it was hard for me. So getting someone who supported me with reading books, I had to do a lot of catching up as a Shetty. So it wasn't easy, but then I think there are a lot of things in place to support us. So that was an equity factor for me. Even though we were all given the same laptop as MasterCard, or we all had access to computers, I didn't have access to computers. So the equality factor is that everyone has it. But then people were, even though they have that, they could build much things on it. But then I had it, but because I didn't have any extra help, I couldn't move with it. So that was for me when we talk about embracing equity, that was what for me. Even though I had the laptop, I needed some help, a little more help than some of my classmates, because some of them, they just needed a little help. I needed more help. So when they talk about 50-50 for all, it's not, even though you can give everyone 50-50, they gave me the computer, but if I didn't get the help, then it would be useless.
You can't do the magic you need to do with what you were
because I
given.
got extra help. So for me, equity is very key. It's very important. We are not all the same. We are all different. Biologically, everything. We are different people. So if we identify that even if you give you the 50, we give everyone 50, my 50 wouldn't be enough because I need more support to be better. Right now, if I hadn't been given the 50, I would have perhaps failed Ashesi and at the end dropped out. And what will happen? The people that I'm supporting right now, they'll still be in the same situation. So for me, giving opportunity, equality to equity to people is key, because some of us need a little more support to become the person that we are. We needed it to become the person that we are today. So we could also support others that need it.
Fantastic. So that we can support others that need it. Right. This brings us to a very important segment, because we wanted to find out from the streets, what do they understand, or how do they view equity, the equity versus equality question. Let's see what they said.
I think equality is giving like the same opportunity, okay? Equal opportunity in the sense that, say we are giving items to 2 people, okay? And we give 20 to person A and we give 20 to person B. That's equality, right? And when we talk about equity, it's more like what is needed to get you to a certain level, right? So say person A has 20 items and then person B has 50, right? And we are trying to achieve 100, right? So person A is given 80 to get to 100, and person B is given 50 to get to 100. That's like equity.
For me, I think equality is more or less like, let's say we have out of 100, we have a 50-50 split. Yeah, then equity is more or less like what we need to top up to have a complete set. So if someone is to have let's say 30 to make 100, and someone else has 50 to make 100, you just top up the 70 for the 30, then the other 50 for the 100. So more or less like equity is what is needed to top up to make a complete value or complete set. Yeah.
We have the opportunity for us to all go to school, but the value gained out of school or after school is totally different. Men have to go to school, learn, graduate, work hard, get a job, buy the car. And this might be controversial, but women have to go to school, learn, graduate, get a job, buy their car, and they have certain perks that come with being a lady. Especially if you are well endowed and well put together as a lady. You have more than 50% chance of getting more things better than a guy.
I know men and women have the same equity and equality in Ghana. For instance, myself, I work in an auditing firm, and what all the women are doing, what all the men are doing, all the women are also doing. Yes.
I went to a garage shop, and then I was expressing my interest in painting, like car painting. And then one gentleman told me that No. I know the air de mamu. Oh your bar. It's an only the anchor. I am member general. More man who say no so yeah fashion design at the pump. Anyway, I felt like come on. You see, so I really think that so people need to get the fact that opportunities cut across here.
To me personally, I don't think it's fixed. There's a transition. You know, it started that usually men have more in terms of them use work, for example, especially the military. There is a potency to get more men on board as compared to women. But along the line, I've seen there's been a gradual transition to make things equal. Now you get to certain places you think it's for only men, then you realize that ladies are also there, they're also involved. So I think the equity is adding up and the equality is getting to that place. So I think that's all I have.
That's what men can do, women can do it even more better. Because for now I can see that even this Okada thing, women are also doing it, but there's no work. And right now I can see that most of the men too are into these nails, hair and other stuff, same as what women do. So I think that what men are doing is what we can also do. You can see that for now I'm with my motorbike, so I take it anywhere I want to. This shows that we women too can be brave as men. It's not everything that we just leave it to the men that they're the only ones that can do it. We can equally also do that.
That's the You Say Waiting, our team on the street, finding out about our conversation in the studios this evening. And so they were talking to people, talking about the equality. What did you, what do you make of some of the comments that the young men and women were saying on the street this evening?
Yeah, I definitely agree with most of them, because even if you are saying equality, all of us are giving the same thing, 50-50-50. We all need to get to 100. But then some people already have 80. So if you are giving them 100, we just need 100. If you are giving everyone equally, said everyone is getting 50, the person has 80, he won't use it for anything, right? So I think as people, we need to support each other to get less. There are some people that have less, others have more. So we need to embrace it. We need to work on it so that we all become better people, right? So I definitely agree with them. So for instance, right, for me as a Chelsea, if we were all given, everyone had laptops to use, that's equity. But then people had already, the laptop is given, but they knew how to move around the laptop. I didn't. So if you are saying that it's equality, so everyone should do it, that's it, then that wouldn't be fair to me, because it will be useless. The laptop will be useless to me because I don't know how to use it. So even though you have given me a laptop, at the end of the day you haven't done anything, because I need a little more to be on the same level with everyone. Yeah. If you don't give me that help, I wouldn't get there. So I think equality equity is very important. Equity is very important. And based on that, there are some sub-themes on that discussion, you know. Actually, before I go there, I want to recognize some of my big gurus watching with us on Facebook. And I want to say hi to Florence, Senyenya, Whitney watching, my sister. You love this, and I also love you. You know that. Thank you so much for watching us today. Ketchwe Obiba Kwame, thank you also for watching, and you've given us 3 full claps and 100%. Thank you, Ketchwe. And then G Boy says, I love this. Thank you. It's really nice to have you on the Springboard Hangout today, and we love that you are joining us. And today we are talking about the International Day of the Woman, or the International Women's Day, and we are looking at embracing equity. And part of that equity, we have 4 pillars that undergird it. And one of the key things is how. You've shown us, our people from the streets talked about it. You also showed us how you were given a computer, but you were not able to, utilize it at first, until you're giving the extra support so that's one way of. But how else, if we're exploring this, how else will we be able to utilize the advantages that having the having the equity would give?
How do we do that?
All right. So I think first of all, what we need to do is let all girls understand that they can.
All girls.
Everyone.
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 It doesn't matter where you come from.
We can.
We can.
I think for me, initially, I felt like, so for this International Women's Day, we are talking about innovation and technology, right? Technology right now, we are in a global world and it's very key. It gets a lot of things moving. But then sometimes, based on where you come from, sometimes your dreams are limited. So we need to let everyone know that we can change their mindset about that. And secondly, I would say that we should incorporate it to start from ground up, right? For me, it was university that I got to know. So let's say if you are public schools, we have STEM education in our public schools. So as the person is growing, as the girl is going through, both boys and girls, as we are going through, we are all learning these things. So primary, GSS, secondary, by the time you are there, you already know what you are doing. You can do anything that you want to do. So making sure that we incorporate it in our schools, both public and private, not just private, but I think the government of Ghana can actually do that to support, and thirdly, making it accessible. For instance, I mean, I was in Boga, I was in a small village called Seriko. I didn't know that you could do magic with your computer. I didn't know the opportunities out there. So my dreams were quite limited based on where I came from. So if you're able to give them access, and at that time, it was Ashesi. So Ashesi, when they gave me the computer, I was like, is it for me? Do I return it when I'm leaving? I was very excited because I had never touched something like that. But making sure that these girls have access to it will be key. Not just telling them they can do it, not just teaching the theory, but then practically them having access to it, being able to use it. I think it will be important because as they do it, they understand it much more, and then moving forward, they will know how to better use it for themselves. And the last thing that I'll also say is that they need role models, right? For me, I think at Ashesi, I had a role model. I had Auntie Sally, who was, but then also so the girls, instead of teaching, we can even have seminars to empower them, support them. People who are working in those sectors, even though it's not a lot, if you check the statistics, it's not a lot with female in tech, female in STEM, it's not that much compared to the male. But in the field that we have, if you're able to mentor the younger ones, talk to them, let them know that this is possible and we can do this and this is how I'm doing it, it will help motivate them as well. Yes.
You know, when you were talking, you talked about having a group up north that you are working with. What's the name of the...
Lozele initiative.
Lozele.
All is well.
All is well.
Yes.
Fantastic. You've talked about what kindly share with our viewers online what Lozele does, and then I'll follow up.
So Lozele, what we do is we train and support Kaya girls to go back home and create a source of income for themselves whilst they go to school or learn a skill. The goal eventually is to support these girls earn an income, because I mean, no one wants to come to Accra and tie their legs and sleep. So the goal is to empower them, get a source of income that will help them support themselves and their family. And also what we also do is not just, they make different products. So they make shea butter, woven bags, smoked fabric. We create kimonos out of it. And some of them also do baking. They identify that in their small village, there's no one who bakes bread there. So there were 3 girls, and right now they've been able to employ 6 other young girls that they are working with, right? So the goal is to empower these girls, create a source of income for themselves whilst they stay in the north. And we currently have we are currently building an e-commerce website where we'll be able to sell their products, and eventually we can we need to create the market so we can bring more girls on board, because there are so many Kayayes that are in Ghana right now, over 100,000 Kayayes that are around. So if you're able to create a market, then we can empower, train and support them to go home. And we don't just train. I feel like training without the resources isn't enough. So that's why I'm saying that even if we let the girls know that they can, even if we let them, we train them on how to use this, if they don't have access to the equipment that they need, to the machines, to the materials that they need. Eventually, they won't get the practical aspect of it. So at Lozelle, what we do is after training our girls, we make sure that they have the machines, the materials for them. Because, I mean, if you train them without giving them the resources that they need, they will eventually go back to the same situation that they were before. So that's basically what we do at Lozelle Initiative.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And if I would like to urge you. Now, Teni is doing something really, really great. You know, the only way we can help young ladies in this situation is to give them the opportunities up north, not here, before they come down. Because they don't want to come because they feel like coming. They come because they need to find some way of earning an income. But if we give them the training there, they will stay and use whatever they've learned to work for themselves there in their various places. Now, why are we discussing Lozelle, right?
Yes.
As well as digital divide and everything. During our program, the Springboard Roadshow Foundation, we had the opportunity of going up north for the past about 15 years. We've been doing this thing. Now, part of what we do is that we sometimes go to secondary schools and interact with the young ladies and gentlemen there. One thing that we always found very interesting was the fact that when we asked, usually when we're in the north, when we asked, oh, what would you like to do? I'd like to be a nurse. I'd like to be a teacher, a nurse, a teacher. So I was not surprised in the least when you said your original dream was to be a teacher, because you knew that once you are in school, you get the stipend. And most importantly, you are guaranteed a job as soon as you finish work. There's no downtime. But when we talk to them about you can, and this is another organization doing this. You are saying this, but I'm just showing you how practical what you're saying is very true, and therefore we need to support Teni here. When we tell them about the possibilities, about what the opportunities education offers them, and therefore they should not just limit themselves to the teacher, the nurse, and maybe the policeman or policewoman, but they should dream. They should have a plan.
Yes.
At the end of a 1-hour session, those young ladies or gentlemen, because we didn't go to just girls' schools, we went to mixed schools, now have a new dream. They have a new concept of their lives. They have a new idea about themselves. So if we take the digital world as well, how can we make this relevant to them so that they'll see that there's a possibility of those when they use the access that is given to them, they are able to see another aspect of their lives. How do we do that?
Yes. So most people, to the best of my knowledge, most people, based on my experience being from the north and coming from the north and working with young people in the north, you realize that, like you said, their dreams are quite limited. And that's because of the environment that they come from. Their dreams, they dream based on what they see.
Of course.
Right? So for me personally, growing up, a teacher was the highest that I could. I didn't know anyone who was a doctor. I didn't know anyone who was an engineer. I didn't even know who an engineer was, right? So how will I know like these opportunities are around them? So one thing that I would say is that what we can do to help them is speak with them. That's one. Letting them know that they can. Bringing people, especially when bringing people to speak to them, bringing people to let them know that, okay, this is happening, this is what we do, this is possible, right? Because some of them, so let me give you an example. So after graduating from HSC, I was doing my national service with them for the first year, and I brought my sister, my younger sister, to Accra, and I took her to the airport, and she was that was the first time she saw a plane, physically. She was very excited. She told me that, Teni, I want to be the first pilot in Ghana.
Fantastic.
First pilot. I said,
fantastic. No. She in her world. She is the first pilot.
So I told her that there are a lot of first pilots. There are a lot of pilots in Ghana, and she said, "Oh, I want to be the first female pilot." I said, "There are a lot of female." She agreed. She disagreed with me. She said, "No, she hasn't seen, so it's not possible." So I think we should let them see it.
More
we should let them
exposure.
see what is possible out there. We should also give them access to the things that we are talking about. Technology. There's so many things that we can achieve if you are able to build on our technology. It will help us advance much better. We can do a lot of things right now. Look at what is happening. ChatGPT. A lot of things are happening. IT. A lot of things are artificial intelligence. Things are moving. That's where I come from. They don't even know what is happening. So just imagine if you are able to let them know. Educate them. First of all, educate them. Second, make policies in our educational system so that as they are going, they know what is around them. Thirdly, give them access to these devices. And fourthly, give them role models. Let them see it, not just say it.
Let them see it.
Yes.
And when they see, they will believe it. What is possible.
And they know they know that they can also achieve this or become this thing.
Fantastic. Right. Teni, it's been a beautiful time, honestly. But I now want to switch quickly to our next segment, which is Ask Comfort. So what are we asking about today?
Ruby Hansen from WA is asking, I have been told all my life that a woman cannot do what I love to do. This affected my self-esteem and identity. How can I break away from this emotional prison?
Ruby. Thank you so much for that beautiful question. And I chose that because I really empathize with you. I remember when I was 11 years old, my father had a printing press, and I had been going to work in the printing press. So I told my father that I wanted to be a printer. And my father said, no, women don't become printers. And I said, what? Why? And he said, no, women don't. Meanwhile, I had been printing in the press with the same equipment. So how come I can do it and want to do it as a professional career? He said, no. Guess what? Many years later, I became a printer. So Ruby, you believe in your dream long enough. As Teni was saying, you expose yourself to your dream. You look at the possibilities of your dream. See what can be possible that you can do. And based on that, you do you. And you may be in that dream where the thing that it was said that you cannot do, you find yourself doing. And doing it so well that nobody can say again that Ruby cannot do it, because you have proven beyond all reasonable doubt that Ruby can do it. So you break yourself out of that prison and see how you can build yourself in the field that you have identified and do the best that you can do. So Ruby, go do Ruby. No other way. I love you. See you. And I want to say thank you, Simon Jaffel, for telling me that I am an amazing personality. Thank you. So with that, we have come to the end of a beautiful edition of the Springboard Hangout. I know that you've enjoyed yourself. And so, Teni, before we go away, what 2 lessons would you like to leave with us today?
Yes. So one thing that I would say is that we all have different abilities. We all have different resources. We all have different needs. So as we celebrate International Women's Day, I need everyone to embrace equity, regardless of you saying that we all need equal things. Some of us need a little more to become better, so we can leverage on that to support other people to be better. So let's go there and then support each other, give more to those that actually need it. And secondly, I would say that Lozele Initiative, what we are doing is we are also creating opportunities for our young girls. And as you go out there, street kaya is better. I mean, most of us are kaya. The services are needed, but as we go there, let's support them, train them, give them what they deserve.
They deserve.
Because carriers, we don't have a fixed amount that we charge people. So sometimes you work all day, you walk through the market all day with a person, and at the end, the amount that you are paid is very little. And then I want everybody to know that always have a plan. The youth out there, have a plan, work through it. Things may not work according to plan, but you have something that will guide you as you go through this journey. Life is hard, but then with a lot of hard work and resilience, you'll be able to achieve whatever goals you set for. It may take time, but you eventually do it. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming today to share your story with us. Your story is so compelling. It's so amazing, and I wish you all the best. I want you to know that you do have a storehouse here. You have people who support you. You have people who work with you. So please don't ever hesitate to take the phone and say, "Comfort, I need this," or "Can you have anybody in?" We are there for you, 24/7. Okay, yes. So you now have a serious backup here with the Springboard Hangout, as well as the Springboard Roadshow Foundation. Yes, and I want to say thank you so much also for watching. You know, this has been a very emotional one for me as well, because you see these young ladies, you see the work they're putting in, and as she said, nobody chooses who they'll be their parents. It's just a chance of life that they happen to be put there. So when we see them, let's support them in whichever way we can. And coming on Sunday, I want to say we will be seeing the one and only, our First Lady Electoral Commissioner, Mrs. Charlotte Osei, will be in the studio with Albert on the Springboard Virtual University, and they're exploring different themes. Make sure you catch them at 7 p.m. on the dot, either on Facebook or on Joy FM. And with this program, we'll have a repeat of this program at 5 p.m. on ETV. So until we come your way again next week with the second part of this program, I'm not promising anything, am I promising? No, I'm not. You know that you are blessed. You know you are loved. You know you are such an amazing person. And don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Because with God on your side, you are capable of doing everything that you have planned to do. God bless you and good night. We love you. Enjoy a phenomenal week.
So long